Good evening, Fernwood. It is your Gotta Get Down on Friday friend Neil here, and it's time for us to end the week with a new episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are taking in episode 135 from October 8th, 1976. It is the end of the week, and hopefully that will mean that we are leaving with a bang. Speaking of bang, Charlie lost a bit of his junk, and he's a bit disappointed about that. Over at the Shumways, Martha has lost George. She has no idea where he is. Merle talked Jimmy Joe Jeters out of running away. We learned a bit more about Nurse Gimble and why she's injured, or at least that's what she says. And then finally, Mary relates to a catatonic patient at the mental ward and shares some profound thoughts about what it means to look into the window of the television, or perhaps the window toward the outside world. That is our recap of yesterday's episode. Because it's Friday, who knows what's going to happen? I figure they're going to leave us something big for us to chew on over the weekend. Let's go ahead and get started.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Okay, son, it's all... Wait. What are you doing, son? Put the television down here. You're going to break your back. Where are you going with that thing, anyway?
It's almost 6:30, isn't it?
Yeah? Well, you just got time for your bath before the family hour starts up. Come on, let's go.
I was going to take this in there and watch the news.
No, you absolutely do not watch the news. All that'll do is get you stirred up to no purpose. You're not doing that.
Then no bath, because I need to watch the news. It's for tomorrow's sermon.
Son, what do you need to listen to late news for to preach a sermon?
Well, I was going to talk about the condos for Christ we said we build. To rescue the unwed sinners from the singles bars and dens of iniquity which litter our nation. But because of what happened with Mrs. Haggers. First off, we can't go to Chicago. Second, we can't have the big revival meeting. And third, we can't raise enough money to start construction.
All right, now look, son, I know how you had your little heart set on them condos, and Lord knows I did too, but what do you think about just preaching one of your other sermons?
Like the one on coveting another man's wife? Sorry, Dad, but I need new material for the Lord.
Son, look, I've fully repented for straying, you know that, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make it up to you, but I can't have you playing with dangerous equipment like a television set, especially when you're in a bathtub. And you know how you get all excited when you watch that stuff. Start waving your arms around and all that. First thing you know, you're going to hit that thing. It's going to fall down and hurt you. I mean, bad.
I won't, I promise. See, I was going to do the sermon on the violence on the 6:30 news. If I get too riled, I'll just turn it off.
All right, son, but you got to promise me you won't touch it, okay? And I mean, not even change the channels, all right?
I promise.
Okay. All right, get me some of that binder twine over, about 6 foot of it, and I'll...
God bless you. How about that rope over there?
That's what I'm talking about. I'll fix this thing up. That's beautiful, son. Beautiful. We'll catch that later, all right? I'll bind this thing up so it's not so perilous. Listen, get that for me. Son, come here. If that's the manager, tell him I'm indisposed, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Who is it, please?
It's me, Reverend Honey, Mrs. Haggers.
Hi, Mrs. Haggers.
Oh, hi, Reverend, darling. I am just so glad to find you here, honey. I just felt so awful and terrible about, what would happen and everything. I just wanted to come over and just lend you and offer you what comfort I could, in addition, of course, to what you get from the Lord himself personally.
Is your husband going to be all right, Mrs. Haggers?
Well, the shock of it all kind of dampened his vital signs somewhat, but he is on the path to recovery.
He that strays not from the path of the faithful shall surely recover.
True, Reverend.
Okay, it's all rigged up for you, son. How you doing, Loretta?
Merle Jeter, don't you take another step forward to me, no offense. Now, I have come here to speak with the Reverend himself.
This is my home, too, such as it is.
It's 6:30, news time.
It is also the home of that child of God over there, and that's who I've come to talk with, not with you. Now, the poor thing has been through that terrible ordeal, and an ordeal that a child his age should not even witness, let alone have knowledge of, whether he speaks to the Lord personally every day or not. Now, I would like to speak with him alone, so I would suggest that you go and find something to do with yourself, and I'm not meaning unleashing that terrible weakness of yours, because right now what the young boy needs is a woman's touch and not yours.
I don't suppose there's anything I could say to you that you'd listen to, is there?
No, there's nothing. Merle, who's in here with Jimmy Joe?
Huh?
Somebody in here with them?
Well, it's the anchor man.
Well, what's an anchor doing in his bathtub?
It's like I always imagine if I died, what if nobody came to my funeral? It's like my friend Loretta would probably have a great funeral. I'll come to yours, Ronald. I swear I'll be there. Tom put me in here, but maybe he just didn't tell anybody and they still think I'm in New York.
Mrs. Hartman, may I speak to you?
Oh, Mr. Markham, do you know what? I really think that Mr. Drayton is getting better. Do you know that today he watched 5.5 hours of straight television?
Good. Pretty soon he'll reach the national average. They'll probably let him go home then. May I see you in private?
Oh, sure. I'll see you later, Ronald.
Mrs. Hartman.
Mary, Mr. Markham.
Chester, Mary.
Yes, Chester.
What I really wanted to tell you is that, with Wanda away, you're the only person I really feel comfortable with in this place.
Oh, well, thank you, Chester. That's really nice of you to say.
So I thought that I would like to tell you a secret.
Oh, a secret? Oh, that I'd really be interested in hearing a secret, but don't you think that maybe you should save it and, tell it to the doctor?
Oh, no, it doesn't have anything to do with my mental state or anything.
Oh, well, great. Then I would love to hear a secret, and I'm real good at keeping secrets, too. Like my husband, Tom, still does not know that I planned a surprise party for him on his 21st birthday.
Well, what I'd like to tell you is that I have hidden something in this building.
Oh, you mean you've lost something? Oh, I'm sure that we can find it.
No. I know where it is. The interesting part of the secret is what it is. It's a nuclear device that could level all of southern Ohio. Maybe all the way clear to Cleveland and Cincinnati. In fact, it could destroy everything within 2,400 square miles. You don't believe me, do you?
I don't know. That you have a nuclear bomb?
Device.
What?
Nuclear device. Never say bomb. What I have is a nuclear device.
Right. It sounds much more technical. Chester, I was told by, the nurse that, your believing that you have a nuclear device was part of your problem. But, you see, to me, you seem so much better that I feel I can tell you the truth. No, I don't believe you. But maybe the doctors and nurses might approve of a project like this. It does show interest in the outside world. See, I don't know. I still find the rules here a little confusing.
I really did think that you would believe me, because what I'm telling you is the truth.
Yeah, but it does sound unlikely. I mean, you do see that, don't you?
In here, probably yes, but out there, I bet you'd believe me.
But, Mr. Markham, we are in here. And, if you keep talking this way, they may make you stay in here.
Oh, no. I have plans, Mrs. Hartman, to blast out.
To blast out? I don't know why, but I find that funny.
Charlie?
Hey, Tom!
Hey, Charlie!
Hey,
How
Tom!
are
You should have let me know you're coming. We just had feeding time. I would have saved you some Jello or something.
That's all right. That's all right. What?
Hey, you all right?
Me? I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. Hey, you look good. You really look good. You look terrific.
Now-
You know?
Don't kid me, Tom.
Well,
Don't-
I'm not kidding you, Charlie. I mean, you really look good. You look terrific. I wouldn't kid you.
I'm not talking about how I look. I'm talking about you. You look like you've seen a ghost. Or maybe some other kind of spirits that we both know about.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't do that anymore, Charlie. I have given that up. A man has got to face his own problems, and I am facing mine, you see? Giving it up. Okay? Guess you heard about Mary, huh?
Yeah. Well, Loretta told me is how she needed a rest and she was feeling down and she's in here. How's she doing?
Well, I'll tell you, I really don't know yet. I mean, they keep telling me that she's, to come back later. Maybe I can see her. Maybe I can't see her. I really don't. They tell me that she needs peace and quiet and a lot of rest and peace of mind, mostly. And, anyway, I just thought I'd come by and see how you're doing.
She gonna be all right, though?
Oh, sure, she's gonna be all right. No problem. Hey, good buddy. Anyway, I'm glad to see you're in one good big piece anyway, huh? I mean, my God, to go after Jeter with that, what was that thing? A sawed-off, Johnny?
I wouldn't use a sawed-off, Tom. You know me better than that. That was Pappy's power. That's regulation length.
Well, we were all worried about how you were, whether you were all right and where you got hit and all. And was you getting right in the nose, did it?
No, that was the gun butt. Because it bucked. I didn't have it to my shoulder,
Oh.
Broke my nose.
Oh. Well, then where did you get hit anyway?
They didn't tell you?
No, they haven't told me anything about where that bullet hit or who that bullet hit or anything or anything. I mean, what'd they do? They have to operate, didn't they? Huh? Is it still there?
What? The shot? No, they got all the shot out. You see, the muzzle was real close to me, and it just took a little chunk and went on about its business,
then it was just a little flesh wound, nothing serious.
Yeah.
Good. Well, where was it? Huh? Where did it hit you?
Down yonder.
Oh, you mean down? Oh, you mean the knee?
No, the knee. Thank goodness it wasn't the knee. I'd really be crippled up.
Well, where was it? Above the knee or below the knee? Or
yeah, above the knee, Mike.
Oh, above the knee. How far above the knee?
Well, right about there, somewhere down there. I tell you the truth, Tom, it's so numb and I'm so full of bandages, I don't even know rightly.
Hey, Charlie, you're lucky, though. You really were. As my mother used to say, it could have been worse.
How could it have been worse?
Well, I mean, Charlie, a foot higher and you'd be singing soprano, right? Right? Huh? Right, Charlie? Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I just thought I'd drop by and say hello to you and let you know that you still got some good friends, and I thought I'd better get back and see if I can let me see Mary,
Well, thanks for coming by, Tom. I really appreciate that. And listen, give Mary my best, will you?
I will. Hey, thanks for being such a good friend, huh? I hope that thigh feels better.
Thigh. I wish it was the thigh.
Is this the Capri Lounge? Well, could I speak to Fatty Kirkle, please? Hello? Fatty, this is Martha Shumway, George's wife. Oh, fine, fine. Is George there bowling? Are you sure? Well, when he comes in, would you have him call me right away? Thank you, Fatty. Bye-bye. Oh, hello, Kathy, dear. How are you?
Hi, Ma. I'm fine. Where's Daddy?
Now, that is a question that I would like the answer to.
What do you mean? Is there something wrong?
Wrong? How can you say that? What could be wrong? Just because your daddy seems to have got lost between the driver's seat and the passenger's door of his own car, what could be wrong?
You mean to say he's missing?
Don't say that. Oh, Kathy, are you sure you're all right? Lord, she's being even sillier than Pa. Oh, sweetheart, things aren't always so strange around here, no. But just think of it this way. Just think of it as being good practice for your stay in the psychiatric ward with Mary. Gracious, Kathy. You shouldn't get so upset. Your daddy's gonna come back. Maybe any minute now.
I feel terrible.
Oh, yes, you look terrible, too.
I mean about Daddy. It's all my fault that he's not coming home.
Oh, what do you mean? He's not coming home. Did he call?
No, he didn't call. But he's not coming home for good, and I drove him away.
Oh, no, you didn't, dear. That's ridiculous. I was in the car the whole time.
No, you see, I told Grandpa something, and he told me to tell Daddy. And so I told Daddy last night, and he was upset a lot.
Well, what could you tell him that would get him that upset?
That I was pregnant.
Pregnant? Oh, I may faint.
And I don't even know who the father is.
Oh, I will faint.
Mother, wait. Mother, wait.
Oh, sorry.
Few remain alive. The scarred and shattered remains of bodies line the streets as scavengers pick their pockets.
Meanwhile, in Southern California, that 2,000-acre brush fire driven by high winds has grown into a full-fledged conflagration. And here we see, about 300 weeping victims whose every material possession has gone up in smoke.
And now a follow-up on that tragic story out of Iowa, the axe murder of a school teacher and his 8 students in remedial reading.
The Henry S.
Jimmy
Kelton
Joe,
Diagnostic
what
Clinic
in God's
has 3
green blessed
agonized
earth
patients
are you
suffering
doing,
from
hon?
This is it, Mrs. Haggers. This is what I've got to tell them in my sermon tomorrow. This is 6:30 news. So far, I've heard 8 news items, and one more violent than the next.
Oh, well, Jimmy Joe, listen, hon, I think it's just the TV's way of trying to get our attention, you know. But to tell you the truth, I'm not too crazy about the way the electrical wires is dangling down.
When asked what happened when his DC-10 spun into the Elmwood Presbyterian Church, killing 126 passengers and the entire Elmwood choir, which our cameras are showing you now, the pilot of the stricken craft, R.L. Amuse, looked up for a moment and then expired.
There must be some acts of kindness today. We are human beings, which means that there has to be acts of humanity to report. But where are they? Where are they?
Well, I don't know, hon, but let me ask you a question. Did your daddy, Merle, put that rope on that TV and hang it up there like that? Because it don't look too properly safe to me, hon.
What I'm asking of Mrs. Haggers is why? Why do they do it? Why do they show kids all this horror, all this destruction?
Tell you what I think I'm going to do. I believe that I'm just going to go over there and unplug that TV set and kind of rearrange them wires, you know, so we don't get a fire or nothing like that.
Stop! In the name of God! The word's coming to Mrs. Haggers. The word is coming to me through the news. It has got to stop. This news is preaching the way of death instead of teaching kids the way of life everlasting. Why is the microphone thrust into a victim's lips? Must we hear every sob, every curse from the throat of infamy? Why is the camera's eye never lidded, never shut? Have you nothing left for your children but the worldly spectacle of death? Will your babies know crime, sin, despair, and iniquity before they can even speak? Before they can even pray to God for salvation? These images of evil are being driven into innocent eyes like nails are being driven into our Savior's flesh. This is violence. This is outrage. This is the work of Satan, the power of darkness, the devil incarnate.
Oh, hon, calm down. You're working yourself up so much that your blood vessels are about to pop out there.
But it's the Lord's will I see it, Mrs. Haggers.
Oh, well, I'm sure that's probably true, hon, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to unplug this TV set for right now, you know, and I think it'd be nice if I just go in and get that nice little rubber duck of yours, you know, with its 2 kids and everything, bring it here for you to play a little while. You know, that little squeezy, darling little rubber duck and its 2 little kids, you know, I saw it in here someplace. I'll be right back.
Showing sports. Bodies crashing into other bodies. A fist fight breaking out. Both teams slamming each other down to the ground in a free-for-all. Now we're spectators throwing a coke bottle at a player. Oh, what are we coming to? What are we coming to?
Now, where is that rubber duck? I know it's just... I know it's around here somewhere. He died for the 6:30 news, Lord. For the sins of the 6:30 news.
Wow. We'll get to that after we cover the rest of the episode. We started with Jimmy Joe and Merle and his portable television. I remember having a portable television. You know, that was the thing. And, you know, even nowadays I will watch my shows in the bath on my phone. It's not as dangerous as a plugged-in device. Merle and Loretta have a little exchange there, and it doesn't feel good. I mean, Loretta wants nothing to do with Merle, but now she's kind of tied to him. Mary at the mental ward talking to Chester Markham, who she perceives as having a delusion, but if we are to trust the scientist we saw the other day, apparently Chester does actually have access to plutonium, or at least that scientist believed that he did. Sometimes in CIT training we will discuss how to talk to someone who is having a delusion, and sometimes those delusions are a little bit too hard to see. Sometimes you won't get facts out of them, but you might get some of the feelings behind that. And you honestly never know what's real or what's not real, and what's perceived and what's not perceived. A friend of mine has a scenario that she uses where there's a mouse that is smoking weed behind the walls. Now, you don't know that there isn't a weed smell. You don't know that there isn't an actual mouse. We can feel fairly safe that there isn't a mouse smoking weed, but what's more important is how this person who is perceiving a mouse and smoking weed and what that's doing to her. And maybe, you know, that's a lot to dig into. We're not really gonna dig into that. Then we cut over to the hospital with Charlie and Tom, and for me in that, it was a bit of checking in, but mostly I see that Charlie is really, really entering a kind of depression about the loss of one testicle, which, yeah, it's painful. I mean, he's on drugs at this moment, but he's doing that little thing where his voice gets higher and then he tries to bring it back down, you know, like his voice changed. And I feel like it's going to be a longer discussion to check in with. Of course, there's lots of problems going on. We know what's up with Loretta at this point. Then Kathy and Martha have that discussion, and Kathy apparently did tell George about the pregnancy, and that may be why George disappeared. So we'll see, but Martha has a fainting spell, which we haven't seen in a few months at this point, or several months at this point. And then Jimmy Joe and Loretta and the bath and the television. And it reminded me a lot of how I felt when Leroy Fetters died, and how everyone kept warning him that the thing that he was doing was deadly. And it was the same in this episode, because Jimmy Joe was warned 2 or 3 times. I mean, he was warned by Merle in the beginning, and he was warned immediately by Loretta, and then he just kept stopping the help. And hey, that's how we lose this kid. Which I guess means that Loretta and Merle are going to be tied into some kind of legal case. And I feel awful for the kid. He's a character, but it's still ugly. And that is how we end our week. He died for the 6:30 news. And that's all I've got to share about this episode. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and impressions about the show down in the comments. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching some TV with me. I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season is going to be. We will see you next week in Fernwood.